On this episode of Why Watch That?
She's coming for Daddy. But you know who plays Daddy?
Ooh.
Joe Morton. It was fun. And by the way, representative, who knew that you could do both? Who knew? Who knew that you could just tell a story and not have to make everything woke?
Was it The Leftovers?
You better believe. Look, let me tell you something about The Leftovers and Ann Dowd. Look, yo, I'm telling you, The Leftovers has some of the greatest performances. Look, they just threw Regina King in the final 2 seasons. I mean, this is like Eddie.
Between The Good Wife and The Good Fight.
Bringing babies into the courtroom.
Right, her and her kids.
Get them, Martha.
You know what? I am mad at you, Martha, with her wine glass in this Q&A.
Why Watch That is a podcast featuring the critic
and referee who go head-to-head on a quest to discover the best movies
and TV shows Hollywood has to offer. Expect the unexpected from the critic.
Well, nothing gets past the ref.
We do all the work.
So you don't have to. Welcome to Why Watch That.
Critic?
Yes.
Critic!
What?
Have you heard? We just got a Buy Me a Coffee page. Uh-oh.
What's that?
Boy, come on. It's a place where listeners can support our work for as little as $5. $5. Pretty much the price of a coffee.
I don't drink no coffee. What you talking about?
Well, you don't drink anything but water and eat raw potatoes. But I guess they can buy you a popcorn. How about that?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, right.
Well, everyone, look, visit buymeacoffee.com/whywatchthat to support our work or purchase our valuable resources.
Yeah, you know what? We just added the TV trackers to help you curate a collection of shows you'll love to watch.
So find this and more ways to support us at buymeacoffee.com/whywatchthat.
So, Critic, are you going to buy me a coffee?
Maybe.
The Why Watch That talk.
Well, let me tell you.
Uh-oh.
Big things come in small packages. Right, Critic?
Yes. Do small things come in big packages? I wonder.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Molecules. Atoms. Electrons. Protons. Oh, I don't know. Well, for this episode, certainly we're going to pack a punch. In more ways than one. You'll find out why. We're going to talk TV, and then we're also going to have a movie talk that, let me tell you, when we get there, we go there. That's all I have to say about that. And just note that we did see that movie talk way back in January at Sundance. So I can only imagine our fresh thoughts. But before we get into that.
Oh, what a tease.
I know. Let's go to a couple premieres that have started, it's the fall. New blossoms are blooming and foliage is falling and shows are dropping. So let's start with Our Kind of People. And we can say that.
Uh-oh.
Or can we?
Oh.
Or can we? It's your kind of people, Critic.
Don't you do that to me.
You from Baltimore, so that's all I'm saying.
But these people are Martha's Vineyard. They ain't nowhere near Baltimore. And the people, my kind of people can act a little better than them. They need to get their stuff together.
Well, this is on Fox, so you can always dip over there and check it out. Or do like I do and watch it on Hulu.
Say that again.
Our Kind of People.
Mm-hmm. So what we have is there's a woman played by Yaya DaCosta. Every time I see Yaya, I'm like,
no,
America's Next Top Model. I'm sorry.
Yes. I mean, wasn't she like episode 2?
Season 2.
Season 2. Mm-hmm. Sorry, not episode 2.
Yes.
Like, because I remember
the one that Eva won. Eva won that season. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and she
they
was
were
the runner-up.
both that season.
Yes, she was the runner-up.
God, it's like Fantasia and J-Hud, year that was so much packed in that second season. So that was a great season. I remember that.
Yes, and remember she spit out the food. They had the Japanese food, the umeboshi. This is so many years ago. How do I remember this? Anyway,
I don't know, but we just have good. Maybe we watched it on a rerun.
I've never heard anybody say rerun like that. I don't know. Rerun.
Well, you talk about Martha's Vineyard, so come on with it.
You better. Well, let's do it. So she plays Angela. Angela has a teenage daughter, and she has an aunt, by the way, who is played by Debbie Morgan.
Oh.
Now, Debbie is showing up now. I'm so glad.
She is. I love those dimples.
and you know what? She brings a groundedness to craziness that I enjoy. Yeah. So, okay. So Angela's mother has passed away and she's left like a building, a shop in Martha's Vineyard. So they go out for the summer to get some coins. Okay.
Collect that cash.
That's right. Because Angela has all of her mother's skill in hair care.
Oh.
And in particular, hair care for our kind of people.
Aha. Now,
you know, if you go to Martha's Vineyard, people will look down their nose at you, but depending on where you came from. And Angela wants to get into this incubator program to really climb the ranks. And this incubator program is run by a husband and wife team. Morris Chestnut is the husband, Raymond.
Oh, Morris is showing up. Oh, my goodness.
And his wife, played by Ryan Nicole Brown, is Lauren. Now, Lauren's father has this $1 billion company, and she is second in command. Does she want to stay that way?
Uh-oh.
She's coming for daddy. But you know who plays daddy?
Ooh.
Joe Morton. So you know what that's going to be.
Yeah, I don't know. She might need to take a couple steps back.
And he is Teddy. So Teddy and Lauren thinks she got him, and he's looking at her like, okay, all right. Now, Lauren and Raymond, have a teenage daughter and so on, and other kids, whatever else they got. So all these people come together, and what happens? What happens with the kids? Some secrets might be unearthed.
Oh dear.
And some secrets definitely will be unearthed for these adults. I'm going to tell you that. It's a lot of crazy stuff going on here. Now, as you watch this, you find out that Angela is connected to these people in ways that, will you have seen it coming? Probably. Because who's her father?
Oh.
We know who mom is. We know who the aunt is. We don't know who daddy is.
Who daddy?
She never met her father. Is he in Martha's Vineyard? Now, or wherever they are. I'm saying Martha's Vineyard like that's where it is. Wherever they are. So.
It's not Martha's Vineyard.
I don't know where they are. And it doesn't even matter. They may as well be there. Now, look.
Oh, no.
This is what I have to say about our kind of people.
Whoa. You mean the show?
The show, that's right.
Okay.
Put that in quotes. So, the first episode, I was kind of entertained. I would say that. It's a lot of explaining and signaling and stating of the obvious, but it's a primetime soap opera. Oh, fine. I wasn't that mad at it. The casting I thought was kind of fun. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, why not? And then we got into the second episode, and I was kind of like, some of the reveals, like they do this reveal that it's like, is that a reveal? Like, you didn't really milk this thing. Like, in this, I can't believe I'm saying this. Right now, in the landscape of storytelling from Hollywood, everybody's milking everything, just moving along. That's every time I'm watching something, that's what I'm thinking. But here I'm like, wait a minute, slow it down. You gotta milk that. It's a soap opera. What are you doing? Or you can't just say, oh, this is my daddy. Like, we knew that was your daddy. That's it. Come on, y'all. We have to be more inventive and creative with the soap opera stuff. So after the second episode, I was like, this is, come on, y'all, come on now. And it is, of course, Lance Gross plays this guy who likes Angela. Why is he like, I don't have no idea. I mean, it's like, we've got to milk it. Okay. You got Joe Morton, and he's doing Joe Morton from Scandal. He's doing that.
We'll take it.
We'll take it. But in the second episode, you got to wait till like the end for the man to show up. Like, no, you got to know when your bread is buttered. So with all of that said, I would say this. If you like Revenge and Scandal, All American and Empire, all four.
And maybe a little Tyler Perry, it sounds like, just a little bit.
You could throw that in there too. I believe Lee Daniels is involved in here, somebody. Yep, he sure is.
Okay, Lee Dan. Okay, then we can just got it. Star, all that stuff.
If you like that, our kind of people, or maybe your kind of people.
Oh, well, let's stay black, shall we? Because we got to go to the Wonder Years on ABC. For you listeners, we are black, so we can do that. The Wonder Years, but not the way you quite remember the Wonder Years. I feel like we talked about this already, but I talked about it because I was so excited about it returning to us, but in a different way and form. And even, I believe, a different time. I don't think we were quite in the, I don't know, were we in the late 60s? It was like, it's like 69. I couldn't remember if the other Wonder Years was that. Wouldn't that be fun if they met each other? Oh my gosh. But anyway.
Yeah. No, but if they were, they'd have to travel because this is set in Montgomery.
In Alabama. And do we know it? Do we know it the first couple of episodes? Because something major happens historically that really does hit the family in many different ways. So what are we saying? The Wonder Years is back. It is the same kind of tone. If you remember from the 80s, the Wonder Years, it put Fred Savage on the map, and we didn't know who Fred Savage was. Yeah. And it put him on the map along with an amazing cast back then. And I remember, I'm really dating myself. I remember watching it and just being like, ooh, this isn't just for me. Like I knew as a kid that this, even though it was surrounding by kids, it felt like the continuation. And I do remember it coming out. There's a movie that I think still stands to this day. It's a wonderful movie. It's called Stand By Me. And it came out in the 80s. And if you took Stand By Me and made it an episodic, but dove into the family of those kids, you would get the Wonder Years. And I know you're going to make an observation for everybody because we talked about it, but that's the impact that it had on me, the Wonder Years. And now it's in a different perspective. It's from a different perspective. Yes, it is from the Black perspective, but the Black perspective in the late 60s. So I think we're bound to come across some things, aren't we? That's right. By the way, Fred Savage directed the pilot.
Yes, you better believe it. And it is set in 1968. All of that is going on. So if you put together what I said and what the ref said, you can imagine what the event is. So we have events. That's right. We do have a family, of course, just like the original. We do have a voiceover, this time by Don Cheadle, and his character in the younger version is Dean Williams. Now, Dean has an older sister, but not an older brother.
Yes. He's off in Vietnam.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes. Not in the show.
And not in the house.
That's right. Not in the house. And he has, of course, two parents, played by Dule Hill and Sekon Singblo. So,
hey, be cool.
Be cool is all Bill says, the father. Because, he's like a musician and that kind of thing. So, everything is be cool, whatever happens. Now, is everybody going to be cool or not? Now, we know, of course, that Dean has to go to school. He has friends. Does he have a Winnie type character in his midst? Yes. But is it like Winnie? Well, watch it and find out. And of course, he has his best friend. Now, they're the Black kids at school. in a class of white kids with a white teacher. So how is that going down? And this relationship thing that's going on among these three is going to get very entangled as you watch the first two episodes. At the end of the first episode, there is an echo of what happens in the original at the end of that first episode, but it's a twist on it. And that twist, how does that make Dean feel? Now, Dean's sister, of course, is all about, hey, you old folks, that is her parents, y'all are not involved in the movement the right way. So she has ideas about action when it comes to rights and things like that. Is she right? Who's not? This is always a intergenerational conflict, which is a part of the Wonder Years, and they have that here.
Yeah.
So as you go through, at the end of the first episode, a tragedy happens just like the original, and you see how that affects their personal lives. Now, the question is, for this iteration, what's the wonder part of the Wonder
That's
Years?
Interesting.
Because the original, because I watched the first 4 episodes of the original again, just to get my bearings again. The original, it is explained in the first episode what that means. It's about them living on their block, regardless of what was happening in the larger world. At that age, this was their Wonder Years. Now, speaking of the original, watching that again, Ref, I'd forgotten it. I remember watching it, but not literally the exact mechanism of the show. So watching the original, it was like stepping into another place and time. Even for the 80s, I was like, wait, this is a half-hour dramedy without a laugh track. In the 80s, now that would be a shock. The reboot, I wasn't taken to another place. It felt like they were using a period piece to do today. That's how it feels to me. It's like if Blackish took over the Wonder Years. Now,
but not as sharp.
Yes, exactly.
The previous seasons of Blackish, not
exactly, not early Blackish. That's right, and that's why, again, if it took over the Wonder Years, you might get something like this. Because my main point is this about the reboot now. When you compare the tragedies at the end of episode 1. In the original, it was specific to the block. Now, it was within a national tragedy, the Vietnam War, but it was specific what happened to the block. And it was something that happened in the original where Kevin did something. He was about to get it. And then they got this news. And the show turns on its head. Watching this version, it was more like a general reaction to a national tragedy. And then they use it for humor. So that, to me, it was just a bit strange going from episode 1 in the end into episode 2. And you'll see how they use that at school and so on to get out of things. It just kind of trivialized it. And I wish that they would be more daring to get the drama again that was in the original.
I think that's an interesting observation because they missed it. Here's how they missed it. It's in Montgomery, Alabama, not in Mobile, Alabama, or in Arkansas. It's literally Montgomery. So that's without giving it away. I mean, you can figure it out.
Yeah.
But that's hyper specific. So it would have been nice to have that local, more of a local, like, ooh, hey, or he's my, or we went to, or we go to his,
Yes. And have a character in the show be personally connected.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. And that's what's missing because they're doing today. And that is a mistake, in my opinion. Now, is this bad? No. I think if you want to see Blackish kind of Wonder Years, then you're going to get it from this iteration. For me, I'm going to be cool.
I watched both episodes. There's only 2 out as of taping.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. The Wonder Years, however, I had to look it up. I'm like, that was an hour long. And I was like, oh, no, it's a half hour.
Yeah.
What they were able to pack in a half hour did not feel, it felt like an hour dramedy.
Yes.
This feels like a half hour.
Mm.
And it's because we haven't, this iteration feels like a half hour. It's because we don't have enough meat on the bones. So we don't have to start from scratch because you kept the title, you kept the around the same year, you kept the tone, you kept the narration. We don't have to start from scratch. So I would really have preferred a little more meat on the bones, but I love Don Cheadle narrating. He's just got that. The kid looks like Don Cheadle, which, sometimes casting, they just put anybody, but it feels like this would be Don Cheadle, like our Don Cheadle growing up.
Yeah.
I love Dule Hill. I think he can almost do no wrong. Love him on stage and off stage. Just a brilliant performer. There's some new talent and it's clear,
Yeah.
it's, so the performances aren't consistent, but the kids for me are doing a great job. I enjoy the children, and that's what you want from the Wonder Years. And just to end it, and we can move on, the Wonder Years really is about understanding. It's Stand By Me. It is literally Stand By Me. The people were influenced by it. That's what it is. It is seeing a world through a child's eyes and making sense of it through a child's eyes. That's what the Wonder Years is. What does it mean to be in a relationship? What does it mean to love someone? What does it mean to even a child, as a teenager? What does it mean to do something? What does it mean to be cool as a kid? And so that's, if they can get over the hump of like smelling like just like, oh, we're the Wonder Years and we're black and it's great. Yeah. And that's wonderful. As soon as you just get to the storytelling, I think this perspective could be super interesting, especially if the older son comes back or if some, you know what I mean? We could really dive into some things. So hopefully they'll be able to do that. But Fred Savage, like we said, did direct the pilot, which I thought was probably such a full circle moment for him.
Yeah.
Now, we ain't done yet.
Uh-oh.
BMF. Uh-oh. This is on Stars. And if Stars is, or they say orange is the new black. I'm going to say Stars is the new black. But no. This has already been renewed for, season 2. So Stars is very kind to renewals. I feel like they don't just, they at least give it another season to give it a shot. They'll cut you off after that. But, once they find a rhythm, they'll be like, let's give it another try. So BMF, I did not get a chance to see this. You did. Mm-hmm. What are we dealing with here? What is BMF?
It's Black Mafia Family.
Oh, I thought it was something else. Way more Sam Jackson.
Well, it is based on a true drug and money laundering organization. So there you go. It is executive produced by Fitty. So, okay. And interestingly enough, so it's two brothers, Meech and T, short for Demetrius and Terry. And Meech, Demetrius Flannery, is actually played by the real Demetrius's son, Junior.
Oh,
playing his
that
father.
Could be awkward. Okay.
Yeah, playing his father.
Okay, do tell.
And Terry is played by Da Vinci.
Okay.
So they're brothers, and Meech is the older brother. And they're in that life. They're in the game. Now, Meech has dropped out of school. Terry is still in school, and he's smart. He has a baby on the way. So he's got money to pull in. And they're still living in their mama and father's house. Okay.
Do they know?
Well, hold that thought, my friend.
Okay.
So that is Charles and Lucille, played by Russell Hornsby and Nicole Brianna White.
Got it.
And they also have a younger sister, all living in the home. Now, the parents are struggling monetarily.
Okay.
Which is why Meech would do this. Why he would drop out of school to go, sell drugs. Now, Terry, interestingly enough, is more interested in the drug stuff. You get the sense that Meech is doing it out of responsibility. It's what I need to do. Terry's got kind of the taste for that life. He's in school. So how do the parents receive this? They blame Meech for all the troubles. He's not in school. Terry is. So anything that happens to Terry is Meech's fault. Now, my brother and I watching this, we're kind of annoyed at that because Terry, it's time to speak up and say, no, I'm doing this because I want to do it. And it's not like he's that much younger than Demetrius. Okay. He's old enough. Now, so that's the dynamic in the home. Are they going to stay living in the home? How do the parents, you asked, Ref, how do the parents find this out? Do they always know? Do they suspect? Is there some overt actions going on? Now, Demetrius is dating a woman. And this woman is connected to someone who's just gotten out of prison or something like that. And he wants to reclaim his territory. Now, how's he going to do that? He wants to pit some of these rival factions against each other and have them knock each other out. Now, he'll knock you out too, okay? But that's something that he wants to do. So he's trying to orchestrate this. But his baby mama, what does she think about him? And what does he think about her? So the thing about Demetrius and Terry, they're smart. Demetrius, he knows how to be patient. Because at the end of episode 1, something happens.
And
you're like, whoa. And Demetrius has to act in episode 2. And he gets pressured by, the people under him to do something. And he's like, I'm in charge. You could sit down because I got to figure out what the doing is actually doing. So I can do what I need to do to stop that doing. Okay? What does T think about this? How is he involved in all of it? And what do the parents think?
Yeah.
That's enough. I'm not going to give anything else away.
Oh, dang it.
Sorry. Now, this is taking over for Raising Kanan, Power Book 3, which I enjoyed. I did.
You did.
Is this a good replacement for that? Yes.
Oh, whoa!
Look,
Stars is coming.
Hey, I am not a snob, even though I sound like one. I am not.
You just want to be entertained.
Thank you.
Respected.
Are you not entertained? Which, by the way, do you know they're doing a sequel of that? Ridley Scott is doing that of Gladiator. Anyway.
Why?
So we'll see what that's
wasn't it concluded?
Well, that's who knows what he's going to do. That's his next movie after the one he's doing now. Anyway, the thing I like, and we were talking about the opposite of our kind of people, right? Where I'm like, wait a minute, milk it. Most shows move it along. BMF, you don't need to tell that to move along. This show is like whiplash. You're like, oh, whoa, move it, which is helpful because some of the writing is not that great. Move it along. Move it along. Now, could it use a little finesse? Yes. But I don't care. I'm not watching this for finesse. I like the cast. Is everybody perfect? No. But I'm going to tell you, just like Kanan, they casted this thing well. They really did. And Tasha Smith, who is an actor, directed the first 2 episodes. I got to give her credit. Got to give her credit. She got her producing credit. Give her credit. Because some of these kids, they have beat changes. I'm like, wait a minute now. Hold on. So, it's hammering through. I'm cool with that right now. The first 2 episodes, I'm enjoying. My brother's enjoying it. There's some characters who are hilarious. There's one guy, the guy who has a baby mama and all that other stuff. His right-hand man is hilarious. Hilarious. So, look, if you like Kanan, this is your replacement. Thank you, 50 Cent.
Well, you know what? If you have stars already because you were already on the power trip, like how you did that. And, you know, you're watching Outlander sneaking, you know, after you put the kids away. And something else was on Stars. I felt like the girlfriend experience.
The girlfriend experience, yeah.
You know, you might as well just watch this. You're paying for it. You may as well just, you know.
Yeah. And it has some style to it too. It's the 80s. You know, it's just like they look like Run DMC in the first episode. Like, it's hilarious.
Yeah. Why not? You know, here's the thing here. I'll just say this because, you know, we went boom, boom, boom. I say by your reviews, Raising Kanan is right there. You can go back and watch it. It's on Stars. Then watch, you know, if you really want to pick that afro, watch that. Watch Wu-Tang, American Saga, season 1. Watch this. And just get all of your 80s, 90s out. Let's do one more.
Okay.
TV, that is. This is a sneak peek coming to us from Apple TV Plus. You know what? Shout out to Apple TV Plus. They're the only network, maybe even Netflix, but boy, when something comes out, they give you access.
Don't they?
And I like that. I love it. I love
Amazon too. Let's throw them in.
Amazon does a good job too. So, you know, just hats off. It's just the other networks that have to come around to this, because if you give press that access, we can really, you know, dive in and have a good time with it and share. But Acapulco, Mexico. What does it mean? You'll tell us.
I forgot. It's something long.
The reeds.
Yeah, something about the reeds.
But this is not that. This is coming out on October the 8th on a Friday. They like to do that. They like to release shows on Fridays.
Yeah.
About 10 episodes. We know Apple. They don't go past 13. I don't think I've seen it yet. And they're not going to. Yeah. They're not gonna. There's no need. That's why you come to Apple TV Plus, right? Now, there's somebody in this that everybody knows. Is that enough? Because it's a certain celebration of Heritage Month. Yeah. So, and I'm assuming that's why they released it now. But you will tell us about it.
Yes. So what it is, there is a multimillionaire, like hundreds of millions of dollars. And it's like his nephew or whoever is talking to him about how he made his money. And his name is Maximo. And in present day, he's played by Eugenio Derbez. Now, if you see Eugenio, you'll go, oh yeah, I've seen him somewhere.
Yeah.
So he's narrating to his nephew, whoever it is, how he made his money. And he takes us back to the 80s. 80s again. In Mexico. And he's living with his sister and his mother, and he got to bring in some money. Now, there is a resort in town, Las Colinas, that he and his good friend Memo, they want to work there. And if they can work their way up. He has a dream to own Las Colinas.
Oh, yeah.
Now, there's a local guy who made it working at Las Colinas. And he had a little encounter with this guy. So, you know, it's kind of romanticized. He drives into the neighborhood, you know, and they regale him and all of that other stuff. So he goes to, you know, apply and get a job. And he comes across this man. Now, the man is not supposed to interview him. But he comes across him in his offices. And what is that like? Okay. Maybe he's not going to get what he expects. Now, of course, he ends up getting a job at Las Colinas. Now, by the way, at Las Colinas, do not speak Spanish. You speak English. Because it's a resort. He's coming.
Right.
You know, all us or them going down to Mexico. So, okay, you got to speak good English and so on. And while he's there, where does he get placed to work? Where does his friend get placed to work? What's that like and why? And can he learn the art of making money? Well, we know he does.
And does it well.
Does it well, but how? How? And what about his mama? He needs to take care of her. She has some issues. She doesn't like Las Colinas, by the way.
Oh.
Because, you know, maybe there's some hedonism going on down there.
Oh, that's mama. Okay.
And his sister is the rebel. You know, he's the apple of his mother's eye. Sister is like, I shouldn't have said of his mother's eye. You'll see why if you watch the show. Now, look.
No.
This is what I would say. And I just watched the first episode. I will tell you that. It's half an hour. That's it. I will get to the rest probably and come back about the whole thing. But we wanted to get this out to you. Watching it, Ref, I was thinking of a show on Amazon Prime called Red Oaks.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yes. Where the guy, you know, he worked as a tennis pro at a resort type place and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's like that. Of course, we get the whole Mexican perspective on top of it. And you get the whole Princess Bride concept of a voiceover, you know, where you have an older guy talking to a younger kid. It's that kind of thing. And I just enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed that. And I would like to see the journey because it was fun. It was fun. And by the way, representative, who knew that you could do both? Who knew? Who knew that you could just tell a story and not have to make everything woke? All right. So that's Acapulco.
Thank you for that. You know, you hear something over and over again in your head. I will hear is whoa, 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 whoa. All right, we need to get serious. We need to get serious because we're about to talk about something that is no laughing matter. No laughing matter. But I will tell you something. Somebody may be laughing themselves all the way to an award of the highest order.
A Why Watch That sneak peek.
We have a sneak peek for you listeners. Now, we are currently, I don't know why I'm whispering, but I feel like I have to. We are currently virtually at Sundance, and we are watching movies, like just watching them. And we came across this new movie called Mass, M-A-S-S. Now, what do you think about when you hear mass? Do you think of space, quantity? Do you think of a huge amount? Do you think of mass, like Catholic?
Right,
what do you
church.
think of? There's so many things. Well, we'll get into that. It is written and directed by Fran Kranz, the actor.
Yeah.
It's his directorial and as a writer debut. He's never done this before. The cast. The cast. We have a Why Watch That favorite. In fact, you first started talking about Ann Dowd. I think, was it The Leftovers?
You better believe. Look, let me tell you something about The Leftovers and Ann Dowd. Look, I'm telling you, The Leftovers has some of the greatest performances. Look, they just threw Regina King in the final 2 seasons. I mean, this is like Eddie.
Oh, and I mean, this is what we've been dealing with, listeners, with Ann Dowd. And of course, you know, she's in Handmaid's Tale, and she ain't this is a very different role for her. Jason Isaacs is also in it. Reed Birney is in it. You've seen him, Home for Dark and
you've seen him.
You've seen him like a lot.
Yeah.
And Martha Plimpton is also in it. And you know, Martha's been in a lot of stuff, especially the 80s. Mm-hmm. But I really, between The Good Wife and The Good Fight,
bringing babies into the courtroom.
Right, her and her kids.
Get him, Martha.
You know what? I am mad at you, Martha, with her wine glass in this Q&A. That's the main cast. I mean, we have like a handful of other people, maybe 2 or 3 other people in this. And I know you're going to go through this plot. And it's a heavy topic kind of plot. But I don't think anything is going to prepare the listeners for the type of experience. Yeah. So I think you should just go there.
Mm-hmm. because it's not much of a plot. Anyway.
No, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, what happens is everybody, they start the movie. We're at this Episcopalian church. The woman who works there comes in late.
With her vest, with her
She got like some bags from the grocery store. And then she's late, but she sits down and listens to a kid getting a piano lesson in the chapel. Okay. She goes down. There's a guy who works there. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm late, blah, 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 blah. And they have to get this room together. Now, somebody else comes in. And we find out that this third character is a therapist of sorts. And she's checking out this room to make sure everything's right. I mean, up to
yes, no,
yeah. Don't put the tissues here, put them over there. What is this on the window? Oh, maybe
rearranging
that's okay.
seats.
Yeah, the seats aren't right. Are we going to hear this music in here? So we're like, what is about to happen? And she's not going to be in the room, this therapist, at all. And we find that she's been working with a couple. Obviously, a tragedy has happened. They don't spell it out from the beginning. And this couple is going to meet with another couple. Two couples, two sets of parents are going to meet. Only them in this room, in this Episcopalian church, in the basement in the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And she says, normally no one's in the building when this thing happens. Huh. Then enter Jason Isaacs, Martha Plimpton, Ann Dowd, Birney. Now, we first see Jason and Martha's characters in the car don't want to go in.
Ooh.
Especially Martha. She's like, no, keep driving. All right. They finally walk in. They get there first. Then Ann and Reed's characters come in. And it's cordial, but it's something very heavy here. I mean, from the beginning, And they get to talking. They get to talking about their kids and what they've been doing now. All right. And you find out that a major tragedy has happened. Mass is the title. Involving kids in high school. What do you think happened?
Yeah.
What do you think happened? Now, I'm not going to tell you who is whom here, so you can find out.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell you whether people are alive or dead or anything like that.
Yes.
So they have to hash this out. What are they hashing out? Why are they here? Why do they need this? Is this going to be something that's even useful for them in the end? You are put through the ringer. We go through it. I mean, and that's about all I can tell you about this movie as a plot. Bref, when I saw this cast on the Sundance list, I was like, okay, topic. Oh, I don't know if I want to go there, but they can take me there.
Yes.
They can walk me through the phone book. I will go with these actors. And I will tell you, everybody, this is some of the heaviest stuff you'll ever watch. And the ref and I are sticklers. If you're going to do a topic this series, you better land it. And I'm going to start with writer-director Fran Kranz. First time doing this. Now, Fran in the Q&A talked about how, this kind of thing inspired him when he heard about one of these terrible mass shootings. Yeah. Inspired him to really get to the bottom of this, the whole process of parents dealing with it. He did his research and it turned into this. Once it was a play and all of that. So he really was thinking about this topic and researching and really involved in it a lot and turned it into art. Yeah. And sometimes if you're so close to something, it can backfire. But sometimes, at least to something like this, which we wouldn't call perfect, but when they said we stuck to the script, because some of this stuff you go, okay, it sounds like a play, like you can hear it. Yeah. But some of it, I was like, did they ad-lib that? Like when they said we stuck to the script, the beats are beautiful. Yes. Beautiful to watch. And this at the end is worth it. When you go through it with them, there is a payoff. There is a reason for them to tell this story. And these actors, Jason Isaacs comes in. He has a particular thought as this father. Yeah. He has a particular purpose for being in the room that is not like his wife's. That's right. He has an agenda in the room and out of the room. Martha Plimpton playing his wife, completely different. She wants answers. Yes. She wants answers. That's what it is. She don't want the nonsense. Don't bring it. Mm-hmm. We get to read Birney, the other husband. He has made up his mind. about what's going to happen in this room, how is he going to respond to that? Right?
When it doesn't go his way. Yeah.
And it's almost like the two husbands are counterpoints and the two wives are as well. Because then we get to Ann Dowd as Reed Birney's wife. This woman is like an avalanche of openness and emotion in the room. And this was written and performed. That's the thing. They all have agendas that are clear on the page and on the screen from these actors. These actors put on a masterclass.
Yes, they did.
I just cannot. They could put it on the stage and it would work. Even watching it, you're like, ooh, what did they film? Where did they cut it? Like, how much did you film of this? You will never see more impressive acting. You will never see. And wait till the end moment that got the ref and got me.
Keep
you don't
going.
see it coming.
Yeah.
So I cannot praise them enough. I think that these actors are treasures. I applaud Fran again. First time coming out and doing this. But know everybody in the ref will, of course, take over. This is a rough watch. It is rough.
Yes, I was going to say, yeah.
You are going to be put through the ringer, but I will say it's worth it.
This is, there's nothing I can really add to that. So I am going to come at it from a different, I agree with every single thing that you said, everything. I echo it. If I just have to dig a little deeper into the rough watch. This is about grieving and loss. Now, what that means, we're not going to tell you what kind of grieving and what kind of loss.
Yeah.
It's how to deal with that. And it does go into some very deep places that I think if that has happened in your life in any form, I think we have to tell you that it's not, it's almost like similar to the movie that we watched about, suicide and all that stuff. You really do. The disclaimer needs to be there, because with parents who are either grieving or wanting answers or whatever the subject matter is in this case, Fran does not shy away with the hard questions.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do in writing. It would be almost better, you think, to have the actors mine and riff that and have it a little more improvised. But it just goes to show you just how good of a writer he was in this project, that when those hard questions were asked, the hard questions were answered, and the actors were required to go there. And many of them said in the Q&A that Martha in particular said, it was on the page. You had nowhere to go but there.
Right.
You had nowhere. The tears were a byproduct because you're going there.
Can you say that again? The tears were a byproduct?
Because you're going there.
Ugh.
And everybody's going there in their character's form.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I have to say, and not to knock it or anything, but to bring it down, because we're floaty with it. We're just like, oh my gosh, it's great, it's wonderful. I will have to say that I would run at the chance to see this on stage and probably would enjoy it better, because the camera setup of some of the angles, especially when you have actors going through these raw places, a lot of times the camera was on the person going through it. And as a person who is wanting to be in the room, I kind of wanted you to show the people in the room reacting to what was happening. So I really did think that, of that. I'm trying to find a crack in Fran's armor, and the crack is the technical end of the movie. It's the technical aspects with the camera placement, the shaky camera, all of that.
When do you stand up? When do you move away from the table?
Yeah, some of the blocking was clunky, but that's that. If you're giving me that,
right,
and you've got this amazing, it's just an amazing experience on screen, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So my recommendation to you, along with the critics' recommendation, is yes, see it. But if you know that you're in a space right now and you've had a background of severe loss.
Just tragedy.
Tragic loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably better. Tragic loss. I think it could be therapeutic, but you really need to proceed with, you just assess yourself to see if you're ready to go there, because they require everybody to go there. But for most of us, I think it was such a beautiful place to be.
Yeah.
So if you want to see Mass, I am quite sure you'll be able to see it. You'll have access to it again at the time of Sundance as we're taping. It has not been, we don't know who the distributor is yet.
Yeah.
We know it'll get picked up. I'm pretty sure about that. But if you really want to see it, we don't walk, run.
Yeah.
Run to your theater, to your home, wherever.
And
run to see it.
Ref, piggybacking off of what you're saying, watch it in a place where you're safe. So if that's with people you love, who you need to support, like, do it that way. Yeah. You don't have to go it alone. This will be something that you can share at the end of it. So that, just to make that clear, everybody, do it in a way where you feel safest.
Yes.
Thanks for listening. For additional resources, visit WhyWatchThat.com.
Good idea, and we'd love to hear from you. So go ahead and leave comments, feedback, and you can rate us on iTunes.
We'll see you next week.
See you.